possible podcast from Dr. Feelgood.
Yeah, yeah. So this is Sci-Fi Power Hour-ish, where we'll be talking about this one's going to be a little short. We're going to be primarily talking about a little bit of movie and sci-fi news, but we got some breaking news that just came out today. But let's get the turd out of the room first.
Which
Before
is
we
the
do that,
Venom.
let's introduce ourselves. Go ahead.
This is Piggy Don, and I just got back from a trip this morning. Had to get one of our cars oil changed.
Yeah, I've been there. This is me, Mr. Redhawk. We might be joined by Jewel Rider Moonstar, but don't hold me to that. So we have to talk about the turd in the room. I didn't say elephant. I didn't say gorilla. I said turd. And what I mean by this is a double pun intended. Is that new trailer for the Venom movie, the Venom trailer #2.
And how apparently it started how it spawned a few defenders because it's following the source material with
that may be the truth, but I mean, have people forgotten that Spawn was never well written? Like Spawn.
I'm not talking about the comic book Spawn, but how it spawned a.
No, I misspoke. Venom was never that well written as a character. Like Venom was well designed because Todd McFarlane helped create the character, but Venom was never a well written character. Venom is at his best when he's basically put in antithesis to Spider-Man. If Venom's by himself, he's fucking boring. Okay? And here we have an entire film that's Venom by himself with 5'6" Tom Hardy playing 6'4" Eddie Brock. Which is just stupid. I'm sorry. I mean, I like Tom Hardy, but can we stop getting a 5'6" man to play
a 6-foot character?
6 foot. Well, Eddie Brock in the comics is like 6'4". He's huge. Like Peter Parker is like 5'11". Like, but Eddie Brock's like a head taller than he is, and he's like the dude is fucking roided out and muscled and just like real alpha male shit. Like you couldn't find a tall big man in Hollywood. Really, you couldn't find one tall big man in Hollywood to play Eddie Brock.
Probably because there's a shortage of them
No, man. That's like in Hollywood where they, instead of getting an Asian person to play an Asian character, they get a white person. Like there are no Asian people in California. California in San Francisco has one of the biggest fucking Chinatowns in America. And they couldn't find one Asian person, one Asian actor on the West Coast. No, man. As many shallow fucking dudes in California, especially Los Angeles, who, those bros who want to be all muscular. I mean, they could have found someone who basically was Eddie Brock. Why get Tom Hardy?
Probably because you'll run the risk of some bad acting since some of them don't have that.
You don't need good acting, because the thing is like you need him to be an asshole when he's Eddie Brock, which wouldn't have been that much of a stretch because it's Los Angeles. Los Angeles is full of assholes. California is full of assholes. And then you just CGI the symbiote, Venom, when he's Venom. So it's not actually him acting. I don't see what the problem is. I don't see what the problem is. I don't see it.
Also, there's a couple of memes about giving Venom googly eyes.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's bullshit. It's all bullshit. From start to finish, side to side, up and down, back and forth. It's bullshit. It's all nothing but bullshit. Total and complete bullshit. But continue your argument.
Let's see, there are people. The trailer, the latest trailer has spawned a group of defenders of the Venom movie, saying and how it's gonna be how it's being faithful to Venom's character, ripping a dialogue, one of his dialogues from the comic books. That sounds really awkward when you read it out loud. And because there are people criticizing how the way the dialogue was delivered in the trailer, and it's not. And now that there's now people coming out, now there's some defenders coming out of the woodwork defending the choice of dialogue. You've got people like Jeremy Johns doing playing devil's advocate by using other movies to say how those other bad movie adaptations are saying how those are good because they picked something from the source material.
Actually, he wasn't playing devil's advocate. That whole video was him being extremely facetious. He was basically using sarcasm and irony to show how ridiculous that stance. Well, this stupid ass line, it came directly from the comics. Look, when you do an adaptation from original material, you have to preserve the spirit of material, but it doesn't have to be word for word. Okay?
Like with Watchmen.
Well, no, because Watchmen didn't do that. Like Zack Snyder got the look of Watchmen, but if you watch the movie, he completely missed the entire goddamn point behind Watchmen. Like, because at the end of it, he basically turns it into this actiony sci-fi superhero film. Watchmen is this big thing where it's like it's horrifying for superheroes to exist. That's the entire point of Watchmen. These people with superpowers should not exist because they have the tendency to play God. That's the entire point. Like it's a cautionary tale on why superheroes shouldn't exist. And that's the entire point. And
but isn't Dr. Manhattan the only superhero with actual superpowers?
Well, when I say superhero, I don't mean in terms of you just have to have powers. People in costumes who have insane amounts of access to resources that they can do things that normal people can't and won't do. Because either they're fucking crazy, like Rorschach is crazy. If you read the comics, he's a racist piece of shit. Racist, misogynistic piece of shit, okay? Who's psychotic. And yet in the movie, they're like, oh no, he's someone you should really care about. The motherfucker is insane. Okay?
When I read the comics, I saw him the same way as being sympathetic as well, since he downplays humanity in general.
No, he's a racist and misogynistic piece of shit. I mean, in like, you know, like I said, Zack Snyder translated Zack Snyder's a very visual director. If you show him a comic that's ultra violent and really needs a more nuanced approach, but it's really stylish, he can shoot that shit one for one, like he did with 300, like he did with the first Sin City. Will he get the point behind the stylistic graphics? Fuck no. It's kind of like how he did with Batman v Superman. He almost did the fight between Batman and Superman with Batman in his power suit down pat. Here's the problem. In the comics of The Dark Knight Returns, that fight has more weight to it because there's a lot of shit leading up to it. There's a reason why Batman is fighting Superman. It's like the reason that Batman's fighting Superman is fucking contrived. But that's the problem with Zack Snyder, is that he's like, Zack Snyder is essentially he's like someone who can do, it's like he's a copywriter, or not, it's like he's a forger, right? He can forge a copy of something But you ask him, well, what's the deeper meaning of this painting? He has no fucking idea, because all he does is going to copy how it looks, not get to the essence of what it means and why it has that look. That's the problem with Zack Snyder. That's why he's kind of like not good for certain projects. But basically, that's neither here nor there. That's why you adapt things. Like if you adapt something one for one, it's probably not going to be that good. Like Jaws. Jaws is a shitty book. It's dry. It's not very well written. The movie's a lot better though. You know.
Yeah.
Or I could use an even better example, The Godfather. The Godfather is a really good book, but the movie enhances the book because the movie drops unnecessary plot points. It doesn't meander as much, and it's pretty razor focused. Like the book jumps between different characters with different viewpoints. Even a character has a one-off, like a guy who's getting assassinated. You'll have a few chapters dedicated to the guy who's about to go assassinate another family's Don. Like you'll have telling about his childhood and shit. It's like, I don't have time for this shit, man. It's a movie. Come on, get together. Like you can't do a one-for-one adaptation because some shit just doesn't work. And I mean,
you want to split it into two parts.
Yeah, but even then it doesn't work. Like, because I mean, like I said, perfect example, The Godfather. The Godfather is a really good book. And it's like 800, 900 pages. It's huge. It's a huge book. It's very large. And like the first two movies are really cover a good half of the book, but you still, not everything is there. Like, and that's okay. Like, it's like the Harry Potter films. You know, they made a lot of money. They're really successful. Not everything in those movies is a one-for-one adaptation from the book. The really big stuff is, but then there's stuff that changes, and that's okay.
All right, because I remember that they cut off the Quidditch match from the fifth book.
Yeah, I mean, not just that. There's like little minor changes that they change, but I mean, you can't do a one, because the thing is that reading is a different medium than movies. Movies is a different medium than books, or plays are a different medium than books, right? It's like you can't have it be one for one. For example, one of my favorite movies of all time, directed by Joel Schumacher, that people, they're like, Batman and Robin. Yeah, that movie was terrible, but he also made some really good films like The Lost Boys, and one of my favorite Samuel L. Jackson movies, A Time to Kill. Now, in A Time to Kill, the book written by John Grisham, this young black girl is raped by two drunk white redneck asshole racists, and they rape her so badly that she is horrifically damaged. She doesn't, and then they try to lynch her and kill her, but she survives. And when these two white men are brought in for their arraignment, where they're going to be sentenced, the father of this black girl, who has managed to procure some underground guns, just kills him. And then they put him on trial for killing these two white boys in the deep South. So yeah, it's got undertones, and it deals with racism, civil unrest, all that type of fun stuff. But there's a line in the movie that's not really in the book, okay? And it's the scene where Sam Jackson is being cross-examined by the prosecution, and he's like, and they're like, well, like, did you kill him? He's like, yeah, I killed him. He's like, in the book, he's like, did you think they deserved to be shot? He's like, well, I don't really. In the book, he's like, well, the only thing I wish is that I could have done it again. But in the movie, Sam Jackson adds his own Sam Jacksonism to it. He's like, yeah, I killed him, and I hope they burn in hell. And it's a great line. It's one of my favorite Sam Jackson lines, by the way. But my point is like, if that movie had been a one-for-one conversion from the book, there would have been plot threads that would have never been created, the great lines that would have never existed. So you can't go one for one with everything. You can't be, everything can't be a straight adaptation. unlike what many people may have you believe. You can't do it.
Yet you keep asking for actors who are one-to-one to their comic counterparts.
Well, if there's like a major difference, yeah. Like here's the thing. Like, I don't think Tom Hardy was a good Bane because Tom Hardy's fucking 5'6", and Bane, even without being roided up, is like 6 foot. Like, Bruce Wayne's like 6'2", Superman's like 6'3", like 6'4". Like, he's slightly taller than he's better built than Bruce Wayne, and Bane is like 6'6". Why would you get a 5'6" man to play a 6'6" man? Because the whole point about Bane is that physically he is better. He's in better shape than Batman. Like, Batman can't physically take on Bane. Like, when he has physically taken on Bane, he's had to use like
intelligence in order to get around his muscles.
He's had to use street tactics. Like, oh shit, okay, let me. And they didn't even include the whole steroid thing with Bane in the shitty Nolan film. But basically, like, in the comics, he's had to use like a knife to cut the venom supply to his muscles, so he's not as roided out. Put bricks in his cape and smash him in the face with it. I mean, this is like street fight tactics. You know, this is, like normally Batman's like, yes, I've trained in all these martial arts. When he's with Bane, he's just like, shit. Let me take this concrete barrier and smash it over your face. Like, you gotta use street. It's kind of like, anyone here seen Friday?
Oh gods.
Remember that fight with Debo where Craig had to get the brick? That's basically Batman with Bane. He, like, you can't, all that shit. Like, here at the end of the day, all that shit that Batman knows. Yeah, I have all these martial arts. I am the ultimate fighter. Against Bane, that shit's useless, and he's got to fight dirty. And that's the point. They fucked that up in the Nolan film.
Question: how tall is Christian Bale compared to Tom Hardy?
Like 5'8", 5'9". Christian Bale's not that tall either. Like, he's not tall. Like, Tom Hardy's really fucking short. He bulked up, but he's still really fucking short. And that's the problem. Like, I mean, like, I'm sorry. It's really, that takes it out. That takes it, because I know, like, because it's not just how they look, it's how it's supposed to be in terms of the character interaction. The whole point of Bane is, like, Bane is the Southern mercenary who was sent to jail. He, in order to get out of jail early, he said, okay, yeah, I'll be an experiment in your special serum to make soldiers better. And it was venom. And like Bane is actually really fucking intelligent. So he basically figures out that I can use this in order to escape and steal the formula, which he does. He kills all the people that makes it. He figured out how to make it. He kills the people that makes it. And that's what he uses as a mercenary to take care of jobs. That's the entire point. Then they fuck it up in the Nolan film where they fucked it up because it's Nolan, and people are always going to get on their knees and blow Christopher Nolan. Oh, I love the Batman. Look, they're well shot films. They are not good Batman movies. I said it. They aren't. If you are watching the Nolan films as a treatise, if you don't read Batman comics and you watch the fucking Nolan films and then you have to go to a Batman trivia contest based on the comics, you're gonna fail if all you saw was those shitty fucking Nolan films, because they're fucked up and they're wrong. Okay. Okay. They're just Ra's al Ghul had nothing to do with Batman's parents being killed, Bruce Wayne's parents being killed. He wasn't trained by Ra's al Ghul. That's in the first movie. And year one of Batman, which is what they were trying to portray in Batman Begins, year one of Batman just had Batman taking out like normal mafia and criminals in Gotham City. That's the reason why in later Batman comics you basically see the rise of all these masked villains, is because basically he cleaned the city out of normal villains. That's when you see the rise of Calendar Man, the Riddler, Catwoman, Poison Ivy,
all these C-list characters, right?
the Joker. Like the reason these costume characters come is because Batman clears the city of the normal gang. Now, had Batman Begins just been that, no Scarecrow, no Ra's al Ghul, probably would have been a better movie in my opinion. I mean, if it had just been like a noirish, and it would have been Batman trying to basically, like, instead of making it, oh, I'm gonna go after Ra's al Ghul, if it had instead have been Bruce Wayne coming back and trying to find out who killed his parents, and while simultaneously cutting through the city, going through all these gangs, that would have been a good thing. And it ends with Joe Chill because that's who killed his parents. That would have been awesome. But we couldn't get that because we had to get Scarecrow and Ra's al Ghul. It's like, I've got Liam Neeson and Cillian O'Murphy, so I've got to make a fucking movie. You know, just because you have a really high level actor doesn't mean you have to use them. Sorry.
It's all right there.
But that's just me. You know, I'm just some asshole. What do I know?
So, Joe, what are your thoughts on the latest Venom trailer?
The turd in the wind.
Oh boy.
Gazpacho.
If I'm gonna be honest, better than Teen Titans Go to the movies, but oh god, that's a low bar.
Yeah, that's not a high bar. That's like you threw a broom on the floor and said, "Jump over that." Well, shit. That's not very difficult to do.
Yeah, I said it's at least better than the Teen Titans Go movie, but that's a low bar already.
Teen Titans Go movie?
I've been hearing people saying that that's a lot better than expected.
Well, it is.
And I already could tell that's a little bit.
No, it is better. Like, basically, the movie spends most of its time. You know how Lego Batman spent a lot of its time making fun of Batman, like in smart and clever ways. Teen Titans Go to the movies is basically a less sophisticated version of that. But it's still better than, I mean, look, let me put it this way. Is it sad that the best DC movies that have come out, like one was a Lego Batman movie and the other one is an animated Teen Titans Go to the movies movie? Is that sad
really
that that's their best DC movies that have come out?
Don't forget Wonder Woman.
Oh,
No,
God.
Wonder Woman was mediocre. The only reason people think Wonder Woman is good is because the other films before that were so shitty. Like, Man of Steel was bad. Batman v Superman was bad. Suicide Squad was bad. Like, Wonder Woman just had to be competent, and it was, but it's not a very good movie. It's not a very good portrayal of the character.
And that is why it didn't get nominated in the Oscars this year.
Well, I mean, it just wasn't, like, Wonder Woman wasn't that good. But, I mean, like I said, when the other movies were so bad, it's kind of like this, right? If you are taking a class and all your, like you've been getting C's, no, you've been getting D's, and you finally get a C, you're going to think, oh, man, I'm on the way up. It's like, you're not doing that much better. But, I mean, you know, it's if you got an F, a D, and an F, and then you finally got a C, the C looks so much better compared to what you were doing, but it's still not that good. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
That's basically Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is not that good of a movie. And I stand by that. It is not that good of a movie. It falls apart in the third act. I'm sorry, but Gal Gadot is not a very good Wonder Woman. I stand by that statement. And, you know, it's a standard origin story. It's not really... It's a perfectly, and when I say, I mean the denotative meaning of mediocre, as in it's not great, it's not terrible, it's middle, it's completely down the line. It's nothing special, but compared to the shit that came before it, I mean, you don't have to deal with I mean, at least she wasn't fucking killing. At least she wasn't destroying buildings and killing tons and tons of civilians, and then making out with her boyfriend on the rubble. Man of Steel.
Nope, because her boyfriend is dead at the end of the movie.
Yeah, but you know, that's still better than Man of Steel Superman, which just fucking. Oh God, I never want to see Henry Cavill as Superman ever again because he sucked at it. And Ben Affleck is Batman can go fuck himself because he sucked at it too.
I don't know. People actually enjoyed Ben Affleck's portrayal of Batman and Bruce Wayne.
Yeah. I totally love it when Batman just goes around fucking killing people. Yeah, that totally is like my favorite version of Batman. No, it's not. I'm being facetious.
Well, that's more of the director's choice. Zack Snyder's choice.
And that's why Zack Snyder's ass is no longer working there. Look. Coincidence? I think not.
Well, he had to bail out because his daughter committed suicide.
Look, let me put it this way. I think that was a convenient. I mean, yes, he had a family tragedy, but let's keep it real. Zack Snyder was a fucking terrible. He was the wrong person to direct all of this. He created the wrong Superman. He did a fucking terrible, like his version of Lex Luthor was ass. Like, I mean, yes. Batman v Superman is a visual spectacle. But the motivation between these two characters to fight each other was so paper thin you could drive a pinky through it. But that's neither here nor there. Let's move on to the breaking news. Jewel, are you awake?
Cool.
I'm still here.
The breaking news of the week, Jewel, is that Sir Patrick Stewart himself is coming back to to Star Trek for his own little spin-off show that's about Jean-Luc Picard. That's all we know.
In a way, I'm happy, but also sad to know that he ain't doing more to save the franchise.
Yeah, I got some bad news that's going to tamp down your excitement. The showrunner is Alex Kurtzman.
I said it's bad news that he ain't gonna help the franchise more, but oh god.
You mean the guy responsible for STD?
STD and Star Trek Into Darkness. You know, Star Trek Into Darkness, the movie that turned a character who's supposed to be a Sikh from the subcontinent India into the whitest guy on planet Earth, Benedict Cumberbatch, whose name itself, as I said earlier in another podcast, sounds like a sex act involving your tongue and mentholated bubblegum in someone's genitals. But yeah, I mean, like, here's the thing. It just seems kind of weird to me that they would get the whitest man on planet Earth to play a character who should be ethnically,
different.
Indian. Just ethnically Indian, or at least ethnic. That's just kind of weird to me, but
Yeah.
What do I know? I'm just a guy.
I don't know. The Klingons' appearances changed throughout the Star Trek series.
Yeah, but they actually had a reason for the Klingons' looks changing throughout the series. There is a canonical reason as to why the Klingons' looks change. If you're a Star Trek fan, they explain it. It's not just, oh, we needed to change it because we don't hold the rights. So there's a reason for that.
I thought it was due to continuity errors or retcons.
No. Well, I mean, you could say it was continuity errors, or just the technology got better. Initially, the Klingons looked like humans, except, in the original series, they looked like humans, except, in blackface. which, I mean, that was the technology they had at the time. Star Trek was shot on a budget. So, you know, you can kind of explain that away. It was the original series. They were on a budget. Okay. The Next Generation, Klingons had cranial ridges and shit. Why did they look like that? Well, they explained that in Enterprise. Okay. As you know, well, in the Star Trek universe, there was, after World War III, there was something called the Eugenics War, where basically groups of scientists basically said humanity is failing. So instead of focusing on trying to uplift humanity through education, better resource management, stuff like that, we are going to create the perfect humans genetically. And they were called augmented humans or augments. Okay. Now, there's a mantra in Star Trek called superior genetics breeds superior ambition. Well, actually, superior genetics breeds superior intellect, which breeds superior ambition. Basically, the augments could not help themselves because they're like, we're superior. We should be running everything. And so basically, they began to take over nations and manipulate things from the shadows. Believe it or not, Khan Noonien Soon, a Sikh from India, was actually one of the good ones. He didn't go around starting wars just because, but I mean, he is an augment and they have to dominate everything. And eventually, you know, humanity got its shit together. The normal humans got their shit together and turned against the augments. And that was the eugenics war, where basically anyone who had any type of genetic modification, even if it was just mutation from living in a fallout area after World War III, was being hunted down and killed. And it was a dark time. But the augments said, fuck all this, we're going into space. And so they, you know, Khan took some of his crew and some of his people and put them on a little ship called the Botany Bay and a cryogen ship, and he went into space and said, fuck humanity. And then we have the whole space seed thing where he meets Captain Kirk and tries to take over the ship because that's his thing. Kirk beats him by fighting dirty and hitting him with a pipe that he rips off the wall and strands him on Tau City 4.
Then he comes back in Star Trek II, Wrath of Khan.
Yes, and they got the same actor, Ricardo Montalban, who's actually from Spain, but fuck it, I'll take it. You know, he doesn't look like a white guy from fucking the UK, so I'll take it. But basically, that guy is in charge of fucking who made Star Trek Into Darkness, where they basically did Wrath of Khan, but a shittier version of it. We're done. That's the breaking news. Anything else you want to add? Joel, anything you want to add before we wrap things up?
Not that I know of, but if anything, I'm gonna be sad about knowing where the movie industry is going with all that. Oh, Sony.
Yeah. Well, I mean, here's looking. If we're lucky, this film will bomb spectacularly, and then Sony will stop. Please, God, stop. I remember,
and hopefully hand over the rights back to Marvel.
I remember. I made this joke, but I remember when Amy Pascal was sitting with Kevin Feige, and she was like, "Yes, our Venom movie will be a part of the Spider-Man cinematic universe." And Kevin Feige had this look on his face. If you guys could just turn off those cameras and leave this room so I could jump on this bitch and beat the shit out of her, please, Jesus. And I don't believe in violence against women, but he had that look on his face. I could just strangle this bitch right now.
I was gonna say, there's that one kind of footage that you'd always want the cameras off to be like, are you effing kidding me?
He just looked like if I could just wrap my hands around her neck and just, what's wrong with you? I mean, and Amy Pascal's already torpedoed like 2 IPs. She torpedoed Spider-Man the first time with Amazing Spider-Man. She torpedoed Ghostbusters by getting rid of Ivan Reitman and putting Paul Feig in charge of it. it's like, why do they keep on giving this woman chances to fuck shit up? But hey, what do we know? But anyway, so yeah. You guys want to bring up any movie talk before we wrap things up? Anything,
yeah. Anyone's thoughts about The Darkest Minds?
I heard it was shit.
Figures.
I heard it was, because here's the thing, the YA movies are over. Like, no one cares anymore. Like when Maze Runner bombed spectacularly, and that other one, the one that was like Divergent, when those two movies bombed, you think people would figure out, hey, like, I mean, haven't you noticed that all these people who were supposed to be part of these YA franchises just stop giving a shit? Like, you don't see another Hunger Games movie coming out, do you?
I think because the Hunger Games already ended.
No, there's supposed to be like 5 movies. They've only done like 3. Think about that. Because I mean,
4.
4, whatever. Jennifer Lawrence isn't coming back to finish that shit. She's a real actress now. She's got other shit to do. Like, they can't get those people back. They're gone. And no one's coming back for Maze. No one's coming back for Maze Runner or Divergent. No one's coming back for that shit. Like, it's like no one figured. It's like Hollywood basically was like, look, we're gonna make all this money because of this shit, and it didn't work out. And now they're like, shit. Yeah, The Darkest Minds is like X-Men, but with a much lower budget. The Darkest Minds.
A video saying that how the majority of young adult novels are pretty much crud.
Well, they are.
It does make terrible movie adaptations.
Most YA novels are the equivalent to they're basically lighter versions of Twilight. Basically, they're basically lighter versions of Twilight. That's all they are.
And how they all run a huge number of cliches of each other.
Well, yeah, because the genre is always the same. The adults are against the children are being separated, but there's one special girl or boy who's part of a special, ultra special group that can be part of any group. It's like, come on, man, fuck off. It's the same shit. It's always a dystopian future, right?
Right.
I mean, it's like so many cliches get ticked off on the box. It's just annoying.
I mean, this is why the Tomorrowland movie was supposed to combat against dystopian post-apocalyptic movie settings. And
itself was a dystopian post-apocalyptic. Let's say. Now that's ironic, isn't it?
And it lost at the box office against a post-apocalyptic movie, which is Mad Max Road Fury.
Yeah, but Mad Max has been around. That has like 4 movies. There's Mad Max, The Road Warrior, Beyond Thunderdome, and then this one. So that's 4 movies. And it's like Mad Max began that post-apocalyptic dystopian future. But Mad Max actually has a point, because with each movie, Max Rakatowski basically loses more of his humanity and becomes more savage. Like in the first movie, he's in his police patroller uniform. He's getting revenge against these gangers who killed his wife and child. Okay, cool, fair enough. In the second movie, he's starting to look more ragged and shit. Like his uniform's kind of looking kind of raggedy and shit, but he's still trying to adhere to some type of code. The third movie, he's a fucking savage. Beyond Thunderdome, he is a savage. And like even when he has his bits of humanity, it's not enough to save him. Because like you can see in Thunderdome when they have Thunderdome 2-man enter, 1-man leave. He's gonna kill Blaster. And he Blaster's helmet comes off, and he realizes that he's special needs, and he's like, can't do this, because he's from before civilization fell, and he knows that like you're not supposed to like hurt people like that. And he's like, this is fucked up, and he's killed anyway because 2-man enter, 1-man leave. But it's fucked up. That's that's the way we roll. That's the way it is. And for those of you who like two-man enter, one-man leave, Master Blaster, they actually take a riff on that on Twilight Princess, where you fight the Goron who's guarding the hero's bow in Death Mountain, because like he's wearing this intimidating ass mask, and then you beat him, and he takes his mask off, and he's got a baby face. And it's surprising. It's like he's this big, intimidating. He's got a baby face. No wonder he wears that mask. But yeah, I mean, listen. I have nothing against adaptations if it's done right. If it's done right. If you're fucking with established canon, that pisses me off. I don't like that. Okay, like I'm not cool with people fucking with established canon. Like, yeah, in the originally, like if you go old school, golden age of comics Superman, he fucking killed people. He was a violent piece of shit. But the modern Superman, the Silver Age Superman that people love, that's been the basis of all the characters since then. Like, he goes out of his way not to kill people. It's like, you're going to jail. He could kill Lex Luthor, but he's gonna take him to jail. What's wrong with you? Shit. And Superman goes out of his way if he's fighting supervillains in the city to lead them out of the city so that they don't fucking destroy the city while he's fighting.
And for what?
Kind of like Goku in Dragon Ball Z when he first meets the Saiyan. We can't fight here. We have to fight over here. There's no people here. We can fight out here. Okay,
Yeah,
cool. That makes sense.
And this is a scenario that's been tackled on in other superhero movies like The Incredibles and the MCU, where collateral damage.
Oh yeah. But even then, like, they actually try to make that thing. It's like, okay, we have to evacuate the city. We have to put up the shields. No, Man of Steel. Yeah, I just demolished like 85% of Metropolis. Lois, I'm gonna fuck you hard with my Superman dick. You just killed like all these people. But that makes me hot.
This video trying to showcase that Superman was trying to get the battle out of the city, but
yeah,
takes him back.
Yeah, I call bullshit on that. Let me put it this way. The Superman I know, the Superman I grew up with, was the 30s serial Superman, which was animated. Like when he flew, they would animate it on black and white, so he wasn't in his traditional colors. But then we had the black and white serialized Superman in the one that kind of made it popular with George Reeves, with it's a bird up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's Superman. Dun, 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 that Superman. Where it had really bad special effects, where like they would have a prop gun and Superman would be standing there and they'd shoot the prop gun. It's like, your bullets have no effect on me, and then he'd take the gun and bend it, And I mean, he didn't kill the dudes. He'd take them to jail. And then, then we have the Superman that's like really consolidated it for pop culture. Christopher Reeves. Christopher Reeves didn't fucking destroy the city. He went out of his way to save people. So much so that he broke his cardinal rule and turned back time so that he could beat Lex Luthor completely. So that he could save his girlfriend and the people. But we can't have that. We couldn't have an optimistic, cool Superman raised by a good mom and pop kid. No. We needed dark, gritty Superman. Mopey, emo Superman. That's what we needed. Cause that's realistic. But once again, here's what Zack Snyder didn't understand. The reason the Superman Batman dichotomy works is because they have polar opposite personalities. Like both of them lost their parents at a very young age, but Superman loses his parents so young he doesn't even remember his parents. Like, not physically, like he knows their mental engrams that were implanted on those weird blue kryptonite memory chips, but like he doesn't know his parents. His parents are Ma and Pa Kent. That's his formative thing. That's the real catalyst that makes Superman who he is. So, and then you have Batman, who he saw his parents gunned down by Joe Chill. He didn't know it was Joe Chill at the time, and he's been a little whiny emo bitch ever since about it. My parents died. Tell me about rabbits. Do you bleed? I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You enjoy ripping them.
DC fucked up something that should not have been. That should have been an easy slam dunk. They fucked it up. I don't know how, but they did. So.
And
sorry. Patrick Stewart is executive producing a new Star Trek series and starring. Well, it's probably gonna suck. I mean, if they can't make the shit look the way it's supposed to look, but it's probably gonna suck. It's probably gonna be an older Picard, probably Admiral Picard. But it's probably gonna suck. So that's it. Anything else you guys want to bring up before we wrap things up?
Nope, but I do have some that I'm saving for tomorrow's BS Busters.
Well, this is kind of the new Megaman cartoon is now available online. I haven't watched it.
Oh God, I'm gonna be in torment if it's terrible, but I might have to watch it to see.
It's out already.
Yeah,
I wasn't following the news on that Megaman cartoon.
Yeah, it's called Megaman Fully Charged. It has 10 episodes. You can watch all of them right now. My only problem with it is that the main villain is like,
it's not Dr. Wily, we know.
It's not Dr. Wily. I'm like, how the fuck are you gonna do a Mega Man show and Dr. Wily? Like, this is where the Ruby Spears cartoon had you guys beat, because they knew that Dr. Wily was the man to beat. Dr. Wily. Dr. Light, your robots can't defeat mine. Plus, I mean, like I haven't seen the opening theme of the new show, but it's probably not as good as that Ruby Spears rock opening, which was just really cool. Like I said, back in the 90s and the 80s, if you had a cool opening theme song, we had our asses hooked. Even if it was a shitty cartoon, if the theme song was good, you had us. Like
Thundercats.
Well, I would say Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or no, yeah, you're right. Yeah, Thundercats, TMNT, Cops, Double Dragon, Dino Saucers, King Arthur and the Knights of the Round. King Arthur and the Knights of Justice. Hell, even Disney cartoons back in the 80s and 90s had cool theme songs like Gargoyles. Hell, even Winnie the Pooh had a cool theme song. And don't get me with Rescue Rangers. That had a cool theme song too. Tailspin.
And of course, DuckTales.
Oh yeah, DuckTales. Who else had a cool theme song back then?
Darkwing Duck.
Darkwing Duck, yeah. There's one other that I'm missing. It's on the tip of my tongue. Gummy Bears. Gummy Bears was really, really silly in the beginning, but then it got cool after that. The only Disney animated TV show that really didn't have a cool theme song was Care Bears. But you watched it because it was there, and you just like it was like in the summer. It was like you had a good solid 3 hours of cartoons before the real official other channels afternoon cartoons came on. So so that's it. There might be another thing tonight with Dr. Feelgood. So if you guys get a chance to watch that. It's Gamers at Large podcast. So look forward to that. If it happens, it'll be cool. If it doesn't, well, that's okay. So and we'll be doing the BS Busters tomorrow. Or if Dr. Feelgood has his thing tomorrow, I'll just
Move it to next week.
Move it to next week, or just combine it with his. Because, I mean, like, here's the thing. I'm pretty sure the shit I'm going to be talking about, he's going to be talking about. So,
and probably in heavier detail.
Yeah, yeah. So,
plus a few other news articles I found this week.
Yeah,
The one such as the one I just made an article on.
Yeah, yeah. But hint, I'll be talking a lot about how Chrono Trigger's finally been patched on PC up to where it's a legit game, and it shouldn't have been fucked up in the first place. With that being said, good night.
And happy